Bang. Welcome back to the coffee show. Another treat for you, ladies and gentlemen. World Barista Champion Boram Welcome to the coffee show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kirk. It's a
How,
pleasure.
how have you found being at the World of Coffee Jakarta? This is nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually, I've been to Jakarta quite a few times. I've been coming to Jaku Coffee Week. And then when World of Coffee Asia was announced for Jakarta, we were quite excited because we knew it's going to be a huge, huge show. Obviously, Jakarta in Indonesia, they have like a huge population density. I'm pretty sure you've seen through the traffic in the city
man, it's
and
terrible.
everything. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, we knew it was going to be jam packed. So we're very excited. And it's been like this every single day. Yeah.
Let's talk about your journey. So you're born and raised in Brazil,
Yes.
if I'm correct, in Sao Paulo,
Sao
state
Paulo.
of Sao Paulo.
Yes, yes.
What's it like growing up in Brazil and as a coffee producer?
Very interesting. So Brazil obviously has huge tradition in coffee production, and my family's Korean. My dad moved to Brazil in the 70s. He sort of ended up starting coffee in the 2000 early 2000s, and basically it's been a crazy journey because Brazil is such a traditional producing country. They do things their own way for many years, and I think some of the things that we have really pushed for is how do we push for better quality from Brazil and push for specialty coffee. So for us, it's been pretty much a roller coaster because we've been trying many different things. The industry has been changing a lot as well. So it was quite interesting journey for sure.
So with Fazenda
Yeah.
that's the name of it. How much coffee do you produce there, can you say?
So right now we're producing about 6 to 7,000 bags a year.
Okay.
We're considered a medium to small size producer in Brazil.
We were talking to Gabrielle Agrelli from Doterra the other day, and they've got like a massive operation.
Yeah, I think for example, that Terra is probably like 100 times bigger than us.
What are some of the challenges that he outlined them a little bit? What are some of the challenges you face in Brazil right now? Because I know it's like been a
Yeah.
protracted period of drought sort of thing, and
Yeah.
have you seen that on your farm too?
Yeah, of course. So we are in a different producing region. We have two farms. We have a bigger farm in South of Minas, and the other one is Espírito Santo. Two completely different climates and altitudes and region overall. But our biggest challenge has been climate for sure, especially droughts, extended droughts, extended temperature, high temperature amplitude all the time. We've been having really hard time with heat as well. So I think one of the biggest challenges today for Brazil is how Brazil will be able to maintain volume production for the next 15 to 20 years while also trying to push for higher quality, which is something that we really want to strive for. So I think those are some of the biggest challenges we'll have in the next few years for Brazil.
What? Let's go through your barista competition journey now. And I'm lucky enough to know Coulter Road and David Crosby, your two coaches.
Yes.
They've got lots of stories to tell about you privately that I will not discuss here.
Okay.
Cole recovering from a really bad bout of pink eye right now as well. I don't know if you
Oh,
knew
really?
that,
Oh,
but
jeez.
terrible. Couldn't make it to the show because of it.
Yes.
But so you obviously won the World Barista Championship in 2024. The year before was
2023. Yeah.
And then the year before that, you're in Melbourne.
I was in Melbourne, yes.
Chronicle your journey up to that point. So had you competed for a few years before 22?
Yeah. So actually, our competition journey was like a blitz. It was very quick. I started working as a barista in 2016 when we opened our first shop in Brazil. But since 2016, we've been sort of involved in competition. I was always very inspired by competition. When I started my coffee career in 2014 as a Q grader, I've been going to shows and I watched the first WBC 2015 when Sasha won. And I was very inspired by that, especially because we were producing coffee and it's the first time I heard about coffee fermentation and how it improved and changed the game of coffee quality. So it was very inspiring for me. So since 2016, we've been pushing our baristas to compete. We always had baristas in brewers competition, cup tasters competition. So we're sort of involved, but I wasn't really hands-on into it. I was just supporting our team to do it. I officially started competing in 2019. I actually started my journey as a volunteer. I wanted to learn about competition. I was like, I should volunteer. So I volunteered in Boston in 2019. and that's probably when the first time I saw Cole competing. He was competing again. He was in the finals. Obviously, he came third that year. I was also doing. I was a timekeeper that time, so I saw a lot of the finalists. I saw how they prepared, a lot of the teams how they prepared, and probably it was around that time where we realized like, this is like a team competition. This is not.
So was that pivotal, being that volunteer,
Absolutely.
downloading that data?
Yes. We realized, okay, this is a team competition. This is not like a barista comes in with his coffee and a presentation ready. Like you see like full teams working on the backstage, working really hard just to make sure the barista is performing really well. So in 2019, I started working with Sakamoto. He's a well-known coach in Japan. He trained many barista champions like Hide, like Yoshi Iwase, Miki Suzuki, all these big guys. And we had a really nice relationship with him before. He was helping sell some of our coffees from Brazil to Japan. And that's sort of how we started training. And it was a very important moment for me because he sort of structured our training mindset and training schedules and sort of like linked up with the idea of being like let's treat this as a sport, right? We're going to train every single day. We're going to try to make micro improvements every single time. And then I won in 2019 to compete in, actually, it was supposed to be in Melbourne in 2020.
Yeah, it was.
Everything happened, and then it got pushed back to 2021. So 2021 was my first WBC in Milan. And ever since then, I've been back-to-back Brazil, WBC, WBC until 2023.
So you qualified a little bit higher each time
Yes.
in the World Barista Championship. So
yeah.
how did it feel to... It's kind of like the perfect way to go about it. And Mikhail kind of experienced the same thing. How did it feel? Well, I guess you'd never feel great not winning.
Yeah.
The first year, where did you finish?
So the first year I finished 16th. I was actually wild card for that year. So I was glad to be able to compete a second time. So present a second time in semifinals. So I placed 16th the first time. Second time was I placed 7th in Melbourne. And then obviously we won in 2023. And I think the most important thing is that there's always room for improvements. And that's also something that I learned a lot with Cole and Dave. We've been through many competitions together since Brazil as well. Even when you win, even when we won in WBC, we went for feedback back in the judges' room. Because even if you win, I think there's always even improvement
so something
levels.
You did. You won.
Yes.
You didn't celebrate. You're just like, straight up. Oh, where could we have got more points?
Yeah, we actually went there and we talked to the judges and we're like, okay, we want to hear feedback. What could have been better?
Were they perplexed by that?
Yeah, a little bit. They're like, why do you want to know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we want to look at our score sheets. We want to understand where we could have improved as well. So I think having that mindset is very important.
Cole and David said that you're the hardest working competitor they've ever witnessed.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I think they said for your Worlds, the one that you won, so 2023,
Yeah.
you practice your routine over 100 times.
Yes.
And to paint a picture for those listening that aren't, familiar with competition, to do a full 15-minute run through where you make the coffee and deliver it, it takes a lot of preparation for one run through.
Yeah.
And a lot of cleaning after it as well. So to do 100 is some serious reps.
Yes, a lot of reps. Yeah.
So what was it? How did you manage that over a period of time? Like, what was the schedule like? What did your day look like? Did you have someone helping you with your time? And
so our schedule for that year was pretty much when we think about the whole journey in itself for WBC. I won my national in March, so I had basically 2 months to prepare for WBC. Which was held in June in Athens. So I pretty much think of it like a second job basically. So normally when I was in Brazil, I was working my regular work like 9 to 6, 9 to 5, and then after that I would be okay. This is my dedicated time to competition. So I would be training for 4 or 5 hours more. When I was back in Brazil, I would be mainly training by myself. So everything reset, start doing it again back in Brazil. And then it's all about like, okay, every day I'm going to do 10 sets. That's the objective. So get prepared and I have to push through 10 sets no matter what. and understanding all the small improvements that you can make. It's just like a sport, right? If you want to get better at something, you're going to be training over and over again and get those small margin improvements.
It's always hard seeing, like, you're describing that right now. It's always hard to watch someone who's done all that work and then they make one small little
Yes.
mistake that they would never have made in training.
Exactly.
And then it just undoes them. So like,
Exactly.
it's one of the heartbreaks of the whole
So
thing.
the funny thing is that on purpose, so something that we did on our trainings was making sure mistakes happen on purpose during training. So like I would have, like before when we were like pretty much in the thick part of our training sessions with Cole and Dave, we would set up, like I would set up to do a run through, and then I would get out of the room, and then they would come in and they would mess with my station. So they would mess with my grinder. They would mess with some of the utensils. Like I would have some of the cups disappear and make sure these mistakes would happen on training. So we were training for that too. So that's something that we did that was a little bit different and really helped me make sure not only that mistakes wouldn't happen, but one of the important things for competitors to do on stage is that even if a mistake happens, make sure it doesn't throw you off and make sure nobody notices. Only you should know about it. And I can tell you, like, in all of my run throughs, even in my final run through, there's definitely a few mistakes that happen, but only me and Dave and Cole, we know. Like nobody else needs to know.
Have you been spectating some of the Brewers Cups routines?
A little bit, yeah.
I feel I've said this a few times in other podcasts already, but the standard this year is just it's raising the
Incredible.
bar. And
Incredible.
like two standouts to me. We had Carlos Escobar on yesterday.
Yeah.
Would not be surprised one bit if he wins.
Yes.
Lakis Posomas, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's got a really interesting thing going where he's got these hydrophobic papers that don't actually filter through until you put coffee in there.
Yeah.
A lot of wow factor. There was a huge roar when the Indonesian competitor won. I think the competitors are really bringing it this year.
Yeah, no, this year has been impressive. I think Brewers competition has evolved into a whole new level as well. The level of complexity is incredible, and there's so many details involved in making a perfect brew, and especially on stage like this. So it's quite impressive, and I really love the more and more involvement of customer service.
Yeah.
And like the presentation and like all the theatrics as well, because I think it's also part of the experience for coffee.
How do you spend your time now that you are a World Barista Champion?
So that is a great question. It's almost 2 years now, and basically I've been traveling the world from trade shows to different events and trying to promote coffee the best way I can.
And you've got a shop in Osaka?
Yes, I recently opened shop in Osaka 2 months ago. Yep.
And how's that all going?
It's been very, very good. I think for us, it made a lot of sense to be in Japan at this time, especially because Japan is a huge touristic spot. It sort of feels like you're in a magnifying lens for Asia when you're in Japan, especially because it's so touristic. You get tourists from Philippines, all over Southeast Asia, tourists from China, from Korea. So for us, it's a great way to connect with the Asian markets.
And you were describing to me earlier that you're ethnically Korean.
Yes.
So you spend a lot of time in Korea?
I do spend a good amount of time in Korea as well. Yeah.
My business partner and I were remarking this morning, you look like a K-pop guy. You're a 6'1", handsome Brazilian Korean guy.
Okay.
You could cosplay as one real well.
Cosplay, yeah.
Not that I suggest you would.
Yeah.
But what would you like to see in the next 5 years from coffee as a World Barista Champion? I think it's like you're a leader now. Whether you want to be or not, you effectively are. People look up to you. So, what do you want to see 5 years from now in the specialty coffee industry?
I think this is something that we discuss a lot with people, especially people involved in the industry as well. We see the new CVA system as well. You were just talking to Giannis, right?
What's your take on that?
I honestly, I love it. I think the previous Q system hasn't really been updated for much longer. People have been using the Q system in many different ways. I think a lot of the professionals as well take on the Q grader just to have the title, and we don't really use it on our day to day, and it doesn't make it easy for us to communicate with the end consumer, honestly. And for me like you asked, one of our biggest objectives for me as well is how do we expand our market? How do we reach different consumers? I've been traveling for 2 years, and it's still impressive the amount of consumers that I meet that never hear about specialty coffee, are not really interested in it because they just can't access it as easy as we think we're being able to show it around.
So how do you think the new system will?
I think the new system for me is obviously a lot more inclusive, a lot more easier to communicate. And I really love the fact that it opens up more to how consumers can communicate with us and to what they really enjoy. So running, like I've been running coffee shops for 10 years, our brand in Brazil and now in Japan as well. And honestly, people buy coffees for 1,000 different reasons. It's definitely not because of a score. It's definitely not only because of an origin or a variety. Like people have many different preferences. And I think the CVA system really opens up to that.
Well, I feel like, yeah, I've got some things that I really like about it, and I've got a few concerns as well. Like with, for example, I like that we're kind of detaching ourselves from a number, because let's say, for example, there's an 89-point Jansen Geisha and an 89-point washed Ethiopian. Like, brand names matter in these things. A lot of more people will pay a lot more for a Jansen Geisha.
Exactly.
And so in that point, in that kind of context, for me, the number doesn't make sense.
Yep.
But then I guess the concern I have is that, well, what if we say, for example, there's a Burundi coffee that can score up to 87 points, yet have like different flavor profiles to a Colombian natural.
Exactly.
But it doesn't have a number anymore. It's just got this flavor profile that people might not like. So I guess there's I mean, there's in the new world of coffee, I feel like with prices going up and increasing demand for coffee globally, I think there's always going to be a home for most coffees now, but there are some things that I'll just have to wait and see how that goes.
I feel like, I think that is the sort of the new thinking that we should have. Obviously, there's no number attached to this Burundi coffee anymore, but how do we promote it now? Like, how do we bring the value of Burundi coffee to a consumer? And what is it? What is the consumer going to really take away from that coffee other than that just a score? Is it going to be this flavor profile? Is it going to be this producer's story? And I think that exercise is actually going to be very healthy for all of us.
One thing that I kind of feel like it'd be interesting to know your perspective as a coffee producer is that I think having this dialogue in Western countries like mine, where having this dialogue with customers where we kind of let them experience coffee farms a bit more. Obviously, it's not physically possible all the time because they'd have to fly to Brazil. But I want to explore this idea of virtual reality in the future. And
of course.
And we personally want to make some content going to coffee farms that outline this, because I think if people knew, they got to experience it, got to feel it a bit more. They would understand and value coffee a lot higher.
Yeah, of course. I think that is pretty much a lot of the value add into what coffee experience can be, for sure.
What would you like to see in the way of technology in coffee in the future? Like I don't know, you might not be an expert on this, but I'd like to know your take.
I think technology and data is quite crucial for our coffees. Like, especially like we've been seeing a lot of this in roasting, and this is probably some of the biggest discussions we have with roasting companies or roasting machines, is how can we use better data to create more consistency in roasting. So I think it's essential to automate some of these manual kind of works in data input, and how do we improve consistency and quality of the product overall, and try to eliminate some of the big risks that we have that really affect quality.
You're an ambassador for Stronghold, are you? So did you use Stronghold to roast your coffee for the Worlds?
Yes, every year.
I'm really bummed because we can't use them in Australia. For some reason, they're not certified. So you can't actually use a Stronghold in Australia.
Oh, no. Hopefully soon, no?
Yeah, you gotta. I don't know if it's an Australian government issue or a Stronghold issue, but if it's a Stronghold issue, can you please lobby them?
I will push them
on behalf. Well, I think that's just about everything, Boram. Thanks so much for accepting the invitation to come on.
Thank you, Kirk. It's my pleasure.
We actually have a sponsor that I'll mention right now, which is Time More. So if you're looking for brew gear, hand grinders, electric kettles, electric grinders, being featured a lot here at the World Brewers Cup competition, consider Time More. TimeMore.com if you're looking. Boram thank you so much for coming on. Look forward to seeing you in the K-pop videos, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kirk.
No worries.